This show was actually a surprise to me. I wasn't planning on watching this, but after scrolling through Crunchyroll, I decided to give it a shot. I've heard people recommend it before, but I've never seen it or even knew what it was about. After finishing the first season, I can safely say that I'm glad that I found it. The story of Golden Kamuy is about a man named Sugimoto. In the early 1900s, he was a part of the Russo-Japanese War and gained the reputation of the immortal Sugimoto because he just wouldn't die. Fast forward to after the war. Sugimoto is searching for money so he can help his comrade's wife who is sick. He overhears a story about the Ainu, who are a tribe around the area who have a lot of gold. This gold was stolen, however, by another group of people and was hidden around Hokkaido before they all got arrested. To remember where the gold was, the leader of the prisoners tattooed a map that spanned across all the prisoners. Sugimoto becomes interested in seeking this gold out, and when he meets a young Ainu girl named Ashripa, they team up to find the mysteries of this hidden gold. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when I first watched this show, I wasn't super into it. I watched the episodes, but I kinda felt bored watching them. It wasn't until later where I couldn't stop thinking about the story, the characters, and how interested I was in the overall product. This show is great. Each episode deals with them trying to find each prisoner, and with that comes interesting episodes of the prisoners' personalities, realizations behind the gold itself, and other things. This show may start out with a basic story, but as the show progresses, it becomes deeper and deeper. Sugimoto also gets himself in many fighting situations, so there's fights between him and the others searching for the gold. Ashripa teams up with him in most of these fights, and the strategy is really cool to see. Speaking of Ashripa, she's where most of the humor comes from, which is surprising. I wasn't expecting a show as violent as this one to have really funny bits, but it does. During the journey, they also have to hunt for food, and the more Sugimoto spends with Ashripa, the more he learns about the culture of their tribe and the food that they eat. This is what leads into funny reaction faces from Ashripa complaining about Japanese culture. She's like a reaction face machine. The show also does a great job balancing this humor with the serious moments, which makes the show that much more enjoyable. The other characters Sugimoto and Ashripa meet along the journey are all pretty interesting too. I already mentioned the interesting prisoners, some nice, others very bad. But there's also the leader of the army Sugimoto was a part of, and the other members of that squadron. They both have some interesting personalities, ranging from prideful but unsure to downright crazy. The opening and the ending are worth checking out too, since they're both pretty good. Now, out of all the good points, there's only like one bad thing about it, and it's that the animation isn't that great. It's made by a studio who hadn't made much before, and to be honest, it's hard to match the very detailed manga panels. I was very worried that I wouldn't like this show, since it takes place in a time period I'm not too interested in. But Golden Kamuy is a good show that I will continue, and I think you should try too. Good news for people who enjoy the show, they'll probably adapt all of it. Geno Studio did seasons 1 through 3, but for the 4th season, it'll be going to Brain's Base, and hopefully they'll bring up the levels of animation and character design. If you'd like to watch it, it's on Crunchyroll, Verve, and Funimation.